Okay, so let's talk about the European Parliament. It might seem super far away from your everyday life, but it actually has a huge, direct impact on your future job, your working conditions, and your rights. Basically, it acts as the direct voice for citizens exactly like you. But let's start with a really massive question. How in the world can such a huge, diverse group of people possibly make shared decisions? I mean, think about it for a second. We are talking 440 million people, spread across 27 different countries, speaking 24 languages. Honestly, it sounds like a recipe for total chaos, doesn't it? So, to understand how order comes out of all that chaos, we need to look at who represents who. The European Union has two main voices. One is the Council, which speaks for the 27 national governments. But the other, that's the Parliament. The Parliament is basically the people's place. It doesn't represent governments at all. It represents you. So how exactly do you get your voice in there? Well, the answer is 720. That's the total number of members of the European Parliament, or MEPs for short. Every 5 years, citizens vote directly to elect these 720 politicians to represent those 440 million voices. It's kind of like voting for a student council or a union rep at your workplace, just on a much, much bigger scale. Let's move into our first section, the power of political groups, where ideas mean more than geography. Because when you've got 720 people in one room, you absolutely need a system to get things done. And here's the big surprise, actually. Instead of sitting together by where they're from, like, all the Italians at one table, all the Germans at another, MEPs actually team up based on their shared political beliefs. They organize themselves by ideas, not by geography. We call these teams political groups. Basically, a political group is a squad of politicians from completely different countries who happen to share the exact same vision for the future. So whether they lean center-left or center-right, MEPs vote with their political group. A German and a Spanish MEP who have the same beliefs will literally vote together as a team. All right, moving on to building a coalition, the math of democracy. This is where the real work happens, right here. The absolutely crucial point is this magic number, 361. Out of 720 members, 361 votes are needed to get a majority. So if you want to pass a law or approve a massive budget, you need at least 361 people to step up and say yes. And, well, here is the main challenge. No single political group has 361 votes on its own. None of them even reach that 50% mark. What that means is no single group can just act like the boss and force their own rules on everyone else. It's just not possible. Because nobody has a majority, they have to talk, they have to negotiate, and they have to build a coalition. A coalition is simply when different political groups decide to team up, compromise on their ideas, and reach a shared goal to secure that majority of 361 votes. You can think of it exactly like a group project at school, or working with a team in a workshop. First off, they discuss their ideas. Second, they have to compromise, because let's be real, nobody gets 100% of what they want. And finally, they unite to build that coalition of 361 votes. This cooperation? It's the absolute heart of European democracy. So why does your vote matter? Let's talk about real power and real impact. Why does all this teamwork actually matter to you? Well, because these coalitions hold real, tangible power. They pass laws that directly affect your future, stuff like rules for the tools you'll use in your career, your working conditions as an apprentice, and even your online privacy. Plus, they approve the budget, deciding exactly where the EU's money is spent, and they keep a close eye on the powerful officials running the EU to make sure they reflect our shared values. And that brings us to our final thought. Your vote decides who builds the future. Every 5 years, your vote chooses exactly who gets to sit in these powerful coalitions. You are the one who decides which ideas hold the most power. Knowing just how much impact they have on the rules you're going to live and work by, well, who will you choose to represent your voice?